Hi everyone, my name is Maria and I am the green stitcher here on Flosstube and over on Instagram. This is a channel all about cross stitch. I show a little bit of sewing and sometimes a little bit of my life and cats, and talk about gaming, so playing video games, and a bit of books. Mostly, like I said, it's all about cross stitch. So today I have promised you a video about all of my Maynia starts, and so while I was filming the videos for each individual design, I have decided to also make this one, which is going to be an overview of all of the starts combined, all of the progress, all of the changes, fabric, floss, anything I remember about the designer. So it might not be super interesting for people who have watched every individual video that is on this playlist. I'll attach the link now to the Maynia 2024 playlist. It might be more interesting for someone who hasn't watched those and just didn't have the time, or didn't want to watch individual videos and wants to watch one with all the starts. I should have started with thank you so much for all of my returning viewers, and thank you for all of the new ones as well. I hope you like here, stay and subscribe to the channel. What I'll be doing today, like I said, is I'm going to be showing you all of the May 2024 starts, planned ones and a couple of unplanned ones as well. So everything I started in May and stitched on in May. I will be showing you my purchases at the end, if that's something you're interested in. I will also do shout outs and mentions at the beginning now, so I'm sort of combining Maynia overview and May update because I won't have a chance to film a monthly update video until the end of June now, and I didn't want to delay sort of giving people shout outs or credit. Hi guys, Editing Maria here. Today is the morning of June 14th. You'll be watching this video in the afternoon if you're in the UK, or some other time and some other day probably if you're in the US. It's way too early for me to figure out the time difference now, sorry. I just wanted to add a quick little bit here regarding the giveaway. So in the April Stitchy update video that came out on the 30th of April, I believe, I was celebrating reaching 1,000 subscribers on this channel, thanks to all of you guys, and I was giving away 2 charts by Cricut Collection. So the friendship sampler, and you needed to put the word friendship, and this one with the flowers, and you needed to put the word flowers in the comment under that video. I've given everyone quite a lot of time to enter now, and the giveaway was only open to subscribers from UK and EU. Unfortunately, at this moment, I can't afford sending it everywhere in the world yet, so maybe I should do some digital pattern giveaway next time so more people can enter. And only one subscriber actually entered, and she entered both, and I guess she wins both, which is great. So I'll put the comment here on the screen now, and her name is Tina Whale, and the handle on YouTube is Tina Whale 9897. So Tina, thank you so much for subscribing, thank you for commenting and entering the giveaway. I hope you'll enjoy these wonderful charts. You get both because you entered both, and I will post it to you as soon as you get in touch with me via Instagram, which is Maria_the_green_stitcher, or I'll leave the link to it in the description below. If you don't have Instagram, just answer under this video and comment to say you don't have Instagram, and then I'll get in touch with you and we'll figure something else out. So congratulations. I hope you'll enjoy stitching on these 2 lovely Cricut Collection charts. I love me some Cricut Collection, so very happy for you. I hope, like I said, you'll enjoy these. And then I think we'll probably do another giveaway when I reach 1,500 subscribers, so I'm quite close already. I'm about, I think about 1280 or maybe almost 1,300 subscribers, and then I'll have a look. Maybe I can do, like I said, like a digital thing that more people can enter. Thank you so much, and back to the video. Alright, let's start with mentions and the lovely stitchers on Flosstube who mentioned me on their channels. One of the first people who mentioned me in May was Contented Needleworker Kim, who was inspired by my finish of Riola's Kiss based on the painting by Gustav Klimt. I'll insert the picture of the design here. I stitched it a couple years ago for my sister-in-law and her husband and their wedding anniversary, and Kim liked the design in my video and was inspired to purchase it and stitch it as well. Thank you for giving me a shout out, Kim. And then Cross Stitch the Globe, Stephanie and Allison, the wonderful, lovely stitchers who have fantastic, hilarious and super educational videos, have shouted me out as well. I think they congratulated me on reaching 1,000 subscribers. So thank you guys again. I have commented, but also will mention here. And then I was also mentioned by Official Mermaid Cove, a lovely, lovely channel where she's stitching a lot of mermaid designs. So thank you again for that. And I also wanted to give some shout outs myself. So while stitching on all the lovely May designs, I watched a lot of Flosstube. I'll be honest with you, most of the things that I watched when I had the free time was Flosstube, and I have found some fantastic stitchers that are new to me. They might not necessarily be new to YouTube or Flosstube, and I will talk you through them now. So new to me and one of my absolute favorites now is Jen's Fiber Web. Jen is an amazing stitcher from US. She stitches all the things. She has samplers and she has full coverage and she has cute designs and spooky designs, and she loves different fabrics and different floss. She is also an amazing knitter, and she just absolutely floors me every time she shows a complete sweater or a shawl or mittens, and I am forever in awe of her creativity. I love watching her videos. She's just such a soothing, calming person and such a good energy and presence. So thank you so much for sharing your craft with us, Jen. And I have mentioned it as well, but we'll say this again here. Congratulations on 1,000 subscribers. It's 100% deserved. Should definitely be more than 1,000, and I'm sure you'll reach more than that. And if you haven't seen Jen's videos yet, definitely head over to her channel and give her some love. Another stitcher I have discovered is Anna from Viking Stitches. She is a stitcher from Iceland who lives in UK. Again, she stitches on such a variety of projects. I think I've just binged all of her videos. She actually uses Cross Stitch Saga app as well, same as me, and she actually filmed a video doing like a little tour and how to explain her on the Cross Stitch Saga app. She's also stitching Midna from Make It Pink, so that's another thing we connected on. She's also a video game aficionado, so again a lot of common themes there. So hi Anna. And then I found Cher Bear Stitcher, and I think it's Sherry, I hope I'm remembering it correctly. She's new to Flosstube, but she's not new to cross stitch whatsoever. She has been stitching for a long time, and she has amazing projects. She stitches on a lot of Mirabilias. I think she said she has the plan to stitch them all, if I remember correctly, and she does a lot of different size and different types of mirrors, and they are fantastic and gorgeous. I think I've seen she does a few like complete silk conversions, so subs. The DMC is called for in Mirabilias for silks. So if you haven't seen her before, definitely head over to her channel to watch those amazing videos. I have also discovered Darling Bluebell from Netherlands. Her name is Mieke and she is an angel. I don't know how else to describe her. So I think I found her through Crafty Gaming Jamie, who had a video discussing AI art, quote unquote, debatable if that's a term and we can even call it that. And I think she referred to Mika in her video, and then I headed over to her channel to watch that, but was fascinated not only by the amazing informative video that she's put together regarding this topic, but also her own designs, whips, the sort of color choices, the way she talks about cross stitching is incredibly inspiring and just makes you want to stitch all the things. I think I've binged a few of her videos. I think the latest one has come out almost 8 months ago now, so she hasn't filmed for a while, but hopefully we'll see another video soon. She attended a retreat in Switzerland last year and had again a fantastic video following that, together with a finish parade that was displayed at the retreat, and I just got so like charged up and inspired and enabled to stitch all the amazing things. And then another channel that I have discovered that has been sort of popping up everywhere and everyone's talking about them, and I have heard so many things, and I was getting really annoyed to the point I was like, who are these girls? I need to go and watch them. Everyone is talking about them. How have I not seen them? So they are the Thread Gremlins. I think I've mentioned them on one of the previous videos in May because I stole a good idea from Caroline. So they are 3 friends and stitchers. They are Caroline, Amy, and Elizabeth, and they are hilarious. I like cry and like laugh out loud when I watch their videos. They are so good together. They just bounce right off each other. The way they talk about stitching again is just so funny, and then they all have very different personalities and very different taste in the cross stitch. However, some of the designs do overlap, but it's an absolute joy to watch them. You will have the best time. You will laugh out loud, and if you haven't seen the Thread Gremlins yet, go over on their channel, check them out, and give them again some love and give them a watch. So I think that's all of the channels that I have discovered. As always, I've been watching all of my favorites, and I also wanted to mention my stitchy friend Lera from Lera Stitch Power. I will again link to her channel below, and she is a crafter from Russia, and she has had her channel in Russian for a while now, and then this month she decided to start also filming in English because she is an English tutor and has been watching I think Flosstube for some time as well now. So she has just filmed her first video, which is a whip parade and a little intro. She said she was going to be filming monthly updates in English, so if you want to go check her out, definitely do that. She has again a wide range of different designs and styles. She is stitching on Link by Make It Pink, who I'll mention again in this video, and a lot of other designs. She has mill hills, she has digital patterns, you know, loads of backstitch and loads of colors. She has kids, she has dimensions, she has I think maybe some primitives as well. So definitely check her out. She is fantastic, and again, give her some love. So I think that's all for the shout outs and mentions. I hope I didn't forget anyone. And let's get to talking about my May starts. I will do a quick recap of sort of how this came about again. So I have been cross stitching for quite some time now, like I said, for about 9 years now. I have done a month of starts sort of concept before on my Russian channel, and I've done it a few years in a row. I never did 30 starts or 31 or you know, even 10 or 20, I don't think so. So every time I've done it before, I have started only a handful of sort of hand-picked designs, and so I decided to do the same on this channel this year. And for Maynia, I've decided to start 5 designs. It ended up being more, and I'll show them to you now as well. But yeah, the original plan was to start 5. So I had a design in mind that I purchased last year, I believe, and it was a very big one. It was a very complicated one. It needed a lot of prep, a lot of like searching and buying materials, and I ended up deciding to start it on the 1st of May, and I'll explain why in a second when I show the design. And then at the beginning of this year, before I started this channel, I said, like I said, I was sort of having a look at my stash, having a look at what I've been stitching and enjoying. I have gone through my whips at the end of 2023 and UFO'd a couple of designs. That has sort of had a domino effect on my stash as well, and I have gone through my stash and sold quite a few of my kits and designs that I didn't want to stitch anymore, which means it freed up some hobby funds to purchase the designs that I've always wanted, that I've had in my wish list for ages. And so what I'm trying to do from now on is I'm trying to stitch on whatever I want whenever I want. I'm trying not to keep my new purchases in my stash for too long and get to them as soon as possible and start them so that I, enjoy them while I want to stitch them. And if my taste in cross stitch changes in a few years, I don't regret having bought them. And I enjoy them in the moment, then and there. And sort of that's how the whole idea of Maynia started. Because I really wanted to start that big design on the 1st of May, I decided to get a few more from the favorite and newly purchased and start them as well. And like I said, I ended up starting 7 designs instead of 5. 2 of them were quite spontaneous, and I'll again talk you through them in a second. But yeah, I'm quite happy. So I'll be showing you all of the designs now. Then I will give you a little bit of here are my impressions. This is what I could have done better. This is what I might do next year, kind of overview closer to the end of the video. And then I will do haul for May. Like I said, if anyone doesn't want to watch haul, I know it's not for everyone. You can, switch the video off then and there. So let's start with design that started them all, the gorgeous, amazing, beautiful Siri by Make It Pink. She is a character from the Witcher universe, and I have been a fan of the universe for ages, for more than 15 years now. I was introduced to the books when I was a teenager by one of my good friends, and I have read all the books a few times. I have played all the video games, and I'm currently again replaying Witcher 3. I have seen some of the show. I won't talk anymore about this because I can talk about it for literal ages. I love the universe. I love the books. I know the author is a bit controversial. I will say I love the books. And I have a few figurines from the Witcher universe as well at home. I have, I think I don't have any posters yet, but I really wanted to do a cross-stitch design that is one of the characters from the universe. I have seen quite a few, and they're much smaller, or they're full coverage without sort of distinct features and not as detailed as I would like it to be. And so when I heard that Make It Pink, Ashley May, the designer behind Make It Pink brand, who charts designs based on Hannah Alexander's artwork in Art Nouveau style, has decided to chart Yennefer, Siri and Triss, I ran, I did not walk to her website and purchased Siri. I had a look at all 3, and I've decided, A, they're really large. They are, I'm not sure about Yennefer and Triss. I'm sure they're about at least 50,000. Siri is 75,000 stitches in the version with the frame, the one in the center here. So I've decided to just start with 1. Out of all 3, I did like Siri the most, and it's going to take me a few years to stitch her. So I've just landed on 1 for now. So Siri herself is a character, like I said, one of the main characters from the universe. She has besides being a swordswoman and a sorcerer of a kind, she also sort of travels through time and dimensions and has some other special abilities. And I just, yeah, like I said, I really wanted to stitch her. She is very much for me sort of the one of the main, like I said, characters from the universe. So when I was prepping to stitch her, I have decided to check the pattern, check the number of strands of all the threads that are required. She calls for a lot of crinock, and when I was kitting her up, I have decided, having talked to a couple of friends and having tried it myself on a piece of fabric that I was going to use for her, to see if I want to stitch crinock number 4 with 1 or 2 strands, and I've decided to go with 1, and that is all the crinock that is needed for her. I have kitted it up over a few weeks, if not months. It took some time because either I needed quite a few spools of one color and they weren't all available in the same place, or a certain shop had the right color, not the right thickness, or the other way around. So like I said, it took me some time. Most of these are just regular number 4 crinock braids. Fine braids, I think they're called, very fine braids. There's a couple of these ones ending in C, so they're cord number 4 braid. And then there is Threadworks, that is an overdyed crinock number 4 that is variegated as well, and I have a whole story of how I got it, and it took me a few weeks from sort of purchasing to getting it into my hands. So all of the colors are either sort of silvery or bronzy, and they're all used in her armor and in her sword. And I don't have a project bag for her because she uses only DMC colors and crinock, and so I don't have any sort of flat materials that I would put in my regular vinyl front bags. And so all the crinocks live in this box with a Jeanette Douglas design that I stitched a couple years ago. I was going to stitch her on 32 count sandstone witchet linen, which is my favorite. Like I said, witchet is just my favorite linen. I do like to alternate with others, not to just have one type across, but it is my favorite. And then last minute I decided to hand dye it with liquid red dye in color taupe, and so I got this lovely sort of parchmenty color in the end. I tried to do some mottling. I'm only learning yet, so it's not perfect, but it's quite good, I think. And this piece of fabric was a fat half, so 50 by 140 centimeters. I've cut a piece of it and I ended up with 50 by 90, I think. She's going to be 30 by 70 centimeters on a 32 count when she's done. And this is my progress in the week that I worked on her. So all of my designs in Maynia were meant to be stitched on for a whole week. A few ended up being a bit less, but I'll talk you through that when I get to them. I have stitched 3,700 stitches on her in a week, and that is amazing. For me, that's quite a lot, and I think that's because she has a lot of big chunks of same color as sort of fill in. I have already stitched with metallic, I've stitched with DMC, I've done some of the back stitch. I might swap the back stitch that is thicker for coaching instead. I think that might look a bit more sort of uniform. And I really enjoyed working with one strand of crinock number 4. And like I said in the video about her, she uses a lot of fractional stitches, a lot, like a third of the design is fractional stitches. So I originally started them as over 1/2 stitches or 10 stitches that are all directed into the center of the cross where they would be, because that's the way it was described on my Cross Stitch Saga pattern. Ashley May, if you didn't know, if you purchase a pattern from her, can give you .saga file for it on request. Yeah, and so I've done it at first this way, and then I've decided to stitch it slightly differently. So if you've ever stitched heritage craft designs based on John Clayton watercolors, you know that they use a lot of, I would call them narrow cross stitches. So they take half of the cross stitch size either vertically or horizontally, and I feel like that looks much more sort of uniform. If you want to hear more about this particular thing in detail, head over to the channel and watch my video just about Siri. I talk about that in much more detail there. So made amazing progress. Like I said, I was really glad that I made such good progress. Didn't stitch on anything else that week. Really enjoyed working on her. My fabric shrunk a little while I was dyeing it to about 34 count, which is still fine. And my plan for her is, like I said, she's a big one. She's 75,000 stitches, and I would like to go on stitching her regularly. So Lera from Lera Stitch Power channel that I mentioned at the beginning of the video is also stitching Link by Make It Pink, and I have been chatting to Lera for quite some time now about Link and about Make It Pink designs, besides other things. So we've decided to do a little sort of sal where we stitch each our own Make It Pink, at least 1,000 stitches a month, and then just share photos with each other. So I'm hoping to maybe even make more progress than just 1,000 a month. I don't really want to stretch her out into like 5 years of stitching, rather a couple. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, thoroughly enjoyed working on her. Really thinking about getting another design by Make It Pink, but definitely not until I finished her. Next on my list was a new to me designer, or rather new brand, not a new designer. So start number 2 in May was a Nora, and it was Winter Hair NC277, and it's this wonderful lovely hair that's running through the snow in the woods, and he has or she has some lovely jewels in their crown. They have a lovely sweater on them as well, with beads and with crying ink, and the background is just fantastic. So I have made a bag for it out of my stash fabric, and it's sort of Japanese waves and mountains, and you can see some very traditional sashiko patterns in them, and have this polka dot turquoise inside. My favorite format of project bags is about A4 size, and they have a vinyl front, and I use patterned fabric on the back and the same one around the zipper, and then I use a plain or like very sort of simple patterned fabric on the inside. I quilt them. I like them to be a bit sort of thicker, nicer to touch, and I use, like I said, different interfacing, sometimes cotton one, sometimes the iron-on one, just still sort of testing it out, seeing which one I like more. So I have the additional materials stored in here. Let's call them they, I'm not sure what gender the hair is. I've got the whisper thread here used for their tail. I have two I have two silks here, and the turquoise one's used in the background, as you could see. Pink one is used in just a little bit of the vest, I think. I also have two colors of cryonic here, sort of this lovely dark orange and light purpley blue. It sort of looks like periwinkle light, very nice color. And then it also uses two colors of beads and a and some treasures that look like tiny leaves. And I have decided that if the hair is running in the night and the crescent moon is out, I need to stitch it on a darker fabric. I had a small stash of Picture This Plus hand-dyed fabrics and decided to use one of them for this. So this is 32 count. Maybe I should be doing this for the smaller ones. This is 32 count Picture This Plus linen Belfast in color Dawn, and this is true 32 count as far as I remember. I have recalculated it, so I made quite nice progress again in the first week of working on this. This is about 3,000 stitches and it's about almost 60% of the whole design. I have this needle minder here that I made myself. I started beading as I go. I have worked on the cryonic parts quite a lot already. I've stitched the tail with Whisper, which I didn't quite enjoy that because it's not the thickness of and the thickness and the wispiness of Whisper is not the same throughout the length, so you end up having some bold spots and some thicker and fluffier spots. And so in some parts of the tail I just went over with 10 stitches on top of cross stitches a couple more times just to have a bit more definition, and I'm not still super happy about it, but that's fine. And I've worked with my first silk. Like I said, this was my first time working with silk, which is the Karen Water Lilies one. Lovely, really enjoyed it, and I would really love to work more on this design. Like I said, I have less than half left in it, so I'm hoping to work on it more in the next couple of months and hopefully have a finish soon. Then start number 3 was another shepherd's bush design. So I recently finished my first shepherd's bush stocking. I think it was March that I stitched for myself, and then I really wanted to stitch one for my husband as well. And from the wide variety of shepherd's bush stockings, I chose a few that I liked and I wanted to stitch, and then got my husband to choose which he preferred the most. And he chose this one. So this is Brett's stocking, and it's got a lovely sailboat with the sea theme here. It's got some charms that have fish and yeah, I think other like sort of sea elements. So my husband grew up in Lithuania near the sea, and that's why I've suggested to stitch him this one. I think the main character is one of the 3 kings, which is another favorite cross stitch sort of theme of mine, and I just love this design. I think it's gorgeous. Does it use beads in the center of those flowers? Oh, I just love it. Just love, love, love it. These are meant to be stitched on 18 count linen with size 5 pearl threads by DMC, Weeks Day Works and Classic Color Works. However, I didn't stitch mine this way and didn't stitch this one this way either. So I wanted them to be a smaller size when they're finished, and B, I don't have a stash of size 5 pearl threads, and I didn't want to start one because I didn't think I would need to use them in other designs. So I decided instead to use the same colors as called for, but in regular embroidery floss thickness, and use 2 strands over 2 on 28 natural cassia linen, which I'll show you in a second. This one lives in this bag. Again, I made it before I did the starts, and these are poinsettias. Again, vinyl front, lovely dark red fabric with a bit of mottling, and I have all of the threads for it in here. So it uses, like I said, quite a lot of Weeks Day Works and Classic Color Works. Beautiful colors. And then I also purchased the embellishment pack from 1 to 3 for it, and it has buttons from you know, all the way from the plastic ones to glass ones, a lot of metal charms, really lovely looking and really good quality, and some beads as well. And if you didn't know, this piece of paper inside contains instructions to where to sew on which of the embellishments. Don't bin it. When you open the pack, don't bin it. So this one's actually off the frame because I started something else on that frame in June. So I won't be showing that to you today, that will be in June, but I had to borrow the frame for now. So here's my progress on this design. And like I said, I'm stitching on 28 natural casual linen by Zweigart with 2 strands of embroidery floss by Weeksley Works, DMC and Classic Colorworks, called for in the pattern, and I am stitching 2 over 2, and the full design fits on an eighth of a yard. Yeah. So this is my progress in the week that I stitched on it. I loved working on it. So I think the designs that I enjoyed working on the most were the ones with variegated threads and sort of a lot of different separate elements where the stitching wasn't as busy, you know, and as close together. So I have made the progress of 27% here, and this is about 1400 stitches, and I have done the sailboat, like I said, and the sea, and started some of the hills, and did the flower border at the bottom. And like I said, absolutely enjoyed and loved working on this design. I have a sheep needle minder that has some lovely wildflowers on her, and I'm thoroughly enjoying working on these. Like I said, really happy that I swapped the fabric and the count and the threads for this. It's really enjoyable. I will have all of these threads left over for other designs that I can use them for, and actually some of the colors I had in my stash and I used in the previous stocking for myself were called for here, so I was really happy to use what I have in stash for this. Like I said, again, really enjoyed working on it. It was so nice. I close every cross when I use variegated floss, and if I stitch with DMC, I usually do sort of horizontal rows back and forth. The reason I didn't make such a big progress on it and got sort of interrupted was because while I was stitching on it, no matter how much I was loving it, a pattern from my stash was calling my name, was asking me to give it some love, to start it, and that was... there she is, and that was my second Mirabilia. So if you have seen my April update, you know that I finished my first Mirabilia, which is Blossom, and then in May I decided to start the second in my self-made series of ladies in kimonos, which is Miss Dancing Flower and MD 170. She is an absolute beauty. She uses a lot of colors that I used in Blossom as well. And I do love the fabric she's on because she does call for my favorite Water Lily color by Witchelt. However, I had better fabric for her, I think. So on a Saturday afternoon, I was stitching on, like I said, on the shepherd's bush stocking, and then out of nowhere I just had this absolute mighty urge to start her. I had kitted her up before. I mean, I have all the DMC palette in my stash that lives in this chest of drawers. I have quite a big bead collection as well by Mill Hill. I remember buying specifically the colors I didn't have for her before, and I had one silk that she was calling for, and I swapped the treasures. So she lives in this bag. Again, I made this one for my Mirabilias. This one has cotton wadding, so I'm not sure how much. It's very like crinkled inside. This one has all of the additional materials here as well. And so the amazing silk here is Tequila Sunrise by Karen Waterlilies, and it's a variegated yellow to pink and orange and coral and just all of the gorgeous colors of a sunrise. And then the treasures here are these lovely flowers, and I swapped for the ones I had in stash. They're not exactly the same color, but I think they will work just fine. And I have a box of beads here for her, so she uses quite a lot of colors of beads, and they are all absolutely phenomenal. There's a lot of purples and turquoise and blues, and also gold and cream pearl white. So they're just stunning and beautiful. And so again, I think it was maybe May as well, maybe it was another time, I had purchased a fat half of Crystal Da Vinci by Picture This Plus in 32 count linen, and decided that that was the perfect piece of fabric to start her on, and then have the other part of it go for my third design in this, like I said, self-made series. And here is my start on her. Let me just see if I'm in the frame. Yeah. So she is being stitched, like I said, on 32 count Crystal Da Vinci by Picture This Plus, and it has iridescent thread in it woven into the fabric. It has almost all the colors of the rainbow. It's mostly purples and blues, but then there's also orange splotches and a bit of greens. And I started her from the bottom, as you can see, and I've been working on her dress and the ribbons, and have already made progress on the garland. So she's holding a garland in her hand that has these flowers and petals sort of falling off it and leaving this lovely floral trail. And this uses silk here and beads, and I'm beading as I go as well. Because if you've seen my other video about Mirabilia in April, you know I beaded as I went and I loved it, and I decided to do the same here. And I use felt strips to layer between the fabric when I scroll my frames, so it doesn't leave any dents in the next layer. I have a lovely needle minder I got from Etsy, I think, some time ago, and it says just another stitch. And I feel like the colors match her perfectly. She's going to be, I think, about the same size in stitches as Blossom, so about 20,000. She uses quite a lot of DMC colors, but I think more beads than Blossom. And she actually uses a lot of the same colors of DMC as Blossom, and so does the third design in my series. And how much have I stitched on her? I have stitched 1200 stitches, which is about 6%, and I really enjoyed working on her, and I was really happy that I decided to have such a spontaneous start, and I don't regret it at all. She was my stash. I had all the things in my stash for her as well, so that was just an absolute joy. And I had finished the Mirabilia recently, so it was only logical that I needed a new one in my whips. So again, here she is. Love, love, love her, and I'm hoping to make some progress on her again sometime soon, and just have her out and have her being worked on quite regularly. I won't be washing her when I'm done, I think, because it's hand-dyed fabric and there's silk and there'll be beads. I did iron her and like you see, stretched her in my scroll frames, and I will be working on her sometime soon. But I won't be starting another Mirabilia until this one is done. They are quite a lot of work and they're quite big, and I don't want to have more than one on the go at the same time. And then start number 4 was my first ever Witchy Stitcher design. Like I said, again, being an absolute fan of the Witcher universe and of the Witcher games, while replaying Witcher 3 recently, I've just realized that Leshy is my favorite monster, and is just phenomenal and lovely, and I wanted to stitch him, and I decided to stitch it based on the design by Witchy Stitcher, and he is going to be about 7,000 stitches, I believe, when it's done. Yeah, it's quite a bit bigger than I expected. There's a lot of stitching with 310, which is great. Apparently that is something that I really enjoy. And I had the perfect fabric for it from my stash. I also have the Baba Yaga one as a companion piece, and I will be stitching it at some time as well in the same fabric. I've put him to live in this fern bag that I had gotten made for me again at some point in the past. And I have purchased a wooden organizer with a raven and a skull, or a crow and a skull, again from at some point in the past. I think this is Amazon, and I stained it and I waxed it with furniture wax, beeswax, and it just looks so good and fits the theme so well. This one only uses 12 colors, so I didn't bother using one of my thread and needle organizers. And because it uses so much black, no matter I'm stitching it on 32 count, I decided to use a CXC threads instead of DMC just for the black. And I needed 2 whole skeins, and I'm already halfway through my first one, I think. So the fabric I chose for it is just one of my favorite I've ever worked on, obviously because it's green. So this is a 32 count Witchelt, nope. This is a 32 count Picture This Blast linen in conifer, and I think this is actually true 32 count as well, isn't it? Same as the Nora Corbett Mirabilia one. No, this is a 34 count. So I've heard this before and I was confused at the beginning, and now I'm even more confused probably, that Picture This Blast linens don't always match the count they say they are. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. That is the answer, and I don't know if you'll ever know. It seems darker fabrics usually shrink more and lighter fabrics stay about the same as they say on the label. Not sure. Again, if anyone knows anything about this, let me know. So Leshy is being stitched with 2 strands over 2, and the black coverage on black is so good. I love it. I have made again quite nice progress on it and have stitched about 2,000 stitches. Had a really good time, very relaxing. Stitching with one color, super relaxing. Was really needed. That week was a bit manic with life, so this was really good. The only change I made here is the toadstools caps were supposed to be stitched with 498, and it's more of a pinky raspberry red, and I'm not a big fan of pink, and I swapped it for 666 instead. So here's my progress. Oh my god, and the needle minders. This one is made by me from a enamel pin, and this one is Kate from Etsy, and I'll leave a link to her again below. She's amazing. She has gorgeous needle minders made of acrylics that are either like solid colors like this, or have like a glass effect, or have like swirls of some other paint and glitter inside, and they are just stunning. I've ordered 4 originally and then placed another order for another 4. So I'm going to have quite a lot of her needle minders in stash. I thought it was only fitting that Leshy gets one of these little skulls. It just looks so cute. And with my Mirabilia, I sort of joined unexpectedly Mira May, and with this one I sort of again unexpectedly joined Murder May, hosted by Wicked Cat Stitch. I have watched her videos before, as well this month, by the way. I completely forgot to mention her, and she has a very interesting channel, very interesting videos. Go and watch her for sure. She, as she described it, doesn't stitch on holiday designs, doesn't stitch on any sort of other themes than spooky and witchy and Halloweeny just all year round. So they are beautiful, beautiful designs. So she's decided to do something called Murder May, where you stitch on anything that has skulls or knives or blood or something spooky or words that say murder or something similar. So yeah, I feel like a monster from Witcher definitely qualifies for this. If I haven't said before, I did mention it on the individual video about this design. Leshy is a guardian of the woods. It's a spirit of the woods. He looks like a tree with a skull usually instead of the face, or a lot of the times with a deer skull and antlers instead of the face. It has the powers to control some of the animals. In the Witcher games, it uses ravens to sort of teleport, and also probably like spy on people in the woods, and also uses wolves and can control wolves. In Eastern European folklore, Slavic folklore, it lives in the woods, and it's not necessarily a monster as you would say it. It's a mythical creature. It can be good, it can be bad, it depends on sort of your intentions, and it protects the woods from other people, and yeah, it can help you find your way back home if you got lost, I think. So it's not necessarily a bad character. And yeah, I love that, you know, some of these designs are like part of my childhood and reading the fairy tales and yeah, reading the books, and it's great. Then again, the same week I started Leshy, I decided to get interrupted by another design that was calling me from stash. So I had this kit from a Cross Stitcher magazine, issue 395, that I bought last year, and had this kit with a bookmark with a ship in a bottle. Myself and my husband have been reading much more lately and have been buying more books, and have a few books on the go each of us, so we needed more bookmarks. I remembered about this one, and he asked me to stitch it for him. And so everything that you need to stitch this and even FFO it was in the kit, including the felt. And I originally made a tiny little bag for it. It was meant to be a bigger project bag, and then I messed something up in my calculations, cut off too much on the sides, and had to basically make the best of what I had, and ended up with this tiny little project bag, which is about, I think it's about 4 by 4 inches, maybe a bit more. Doesn't even fit the canvas that I'm stitching this on. I had sewn a bag for a different start in June, but I ended up not using it for that, and so I put my start in here. So this is fabric, I think I got it in Whitby in a craft store, and it's got these lovely blossoms with Japanese sashiko pattern, and they also look like white roses for Yorkshire for me for some reason. And then I've got a coordinating mottled blue fabric inside, and I quilted it as always and put the vinyl front on. Love this so much. This bag, you guys, I have made quite a few bags at this point. I'd say probably more than 10, maybe even more than 15. But then this one turned out so good, like almost professional. I won't be tooting my own horn, but I'm really proud of myself. It takes some time to learn to make these, and because most of your seams are on the front and you can see them, you sort of don't have much room for error. And yeah, just really proud of how this one turned out. So I've put everything I need for it here, and what I need is instead of stitching it on the supplied piece of Aida, I've swapped it for a 14 count white perforated paper by Mill Hill that I have in stash and that I love stitching with. This is a needle minder by Kate as well, who I mentioned when I showed you the skull one. And again, I said it on the video about the design, but the C is stitched with a few different shades of blue and is all covered in backstitch. I have seen Caroline from the Thread Gremlins swap a similar sort of thing in the sky for a variegated color, and I've done the same for the sea. And so I had this leftover floss from an Owl Forest kit I stitched at some point in the past, and it's color number 407, and it's this, well, you can see it here, it's this variegated darker to lighter blue, and I think it's perfect. And so I'm just stitching it with one color, and that's going to be a lovely finish when it's done. All the threads, the floss, are just bundled up, and so I'm planning to make some progress on it as and when I can and want to. I'm not very stitching with one hand and holding it in the other is not very good for my wrist, so I don't tend to do it a lot. That's why I stitch on a scroll frame using both my hands. But I would like to finish it at some point soon. We have a tiny holiday we're going on in the middle of July, and it would be good for me to have it done by then, so my husband can read his book with a new bookmark on holiday. And yeah, loved working on it. I think I only made a tiny progress of like 300 stitches so far, but yeah, like I said, we'll go back to it and stitch on it some more. And then my last Maynia start was, and originally I was debating to do 4 or 5 because I really wanted to specifically spend a week on each design. So having 5 starts and working for each, having 5 starts and working for a whole week on each of them meant that I would steal a few days from June, which I ended up doing and I was okay with. So I started my second ever, I think, Owl Forest embroidery design, and this is Garden Carps, and it's got all of my favorite things: Japan, green, olive greens, and these lovely reds. It has long stitch, it has black work, it has full stitches, gorgeous variegated colors, and it's tall and skinny, and I love this format of designs a lot. I have made an Owl Forest bag for it with owls. That's going to host all of my future Owl Forest designs. And then I've quilted it to sort of mimic the trees and have this mottled brown fabric inside. And as you can see, I've almost used all of the colors at this point. So I have so they come in, okay, let's start from the beginning. I have ordered a set of DMC threads for it, and I bought the pattern in a digital format on Owl Forest's website. And then the threads, if you haven't seen them before, come wound up in these skeins with cardboard bobbins with the number on them, so you can either bobbinate them, or I use them as floss drops. And so I put the number higher up above and then just hole punch them at the bottom. I make quite short lengths because I can't do a loop start and I have to use 2 strands like next to each other, as you know, because these are variegated, all except for white. And where's my design? And the colors are absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, I have had the best time working on this project. It looks fantastic, and like I said, uses my favorite shades of green. So this is going to be 11,000 stitches when it's done. I have made the progress of 700 stitches in May and another 900 in June. So if you calculate together the week that I stitched on it, like I said, both in May and June, I made a progress of about 1,500 stitches, and that is 14%. And I didn't have the time to finish this row with the lily pad sort of stems and flowers, but I'm really looking forward to getting back to it once I've filmed this video and I'm back in June and I can stitch on all the things. This is stitched on 32 count witchet linen in Wet Lily, and I love the way it looks on here. It's my favorite fabric, and I had the perfect piece left over from a fat quarter that I cut off a piece for the 12 Days of Christmas by Stony Creek that I've been stitching for a few months now. I have a needle minder, the cat, drinking a matcha tea drink, wearing, I think it's either a kimono or a hanbok, I'm not sure. I think it looks more like a kimono. Just love it. It's just such a joy. It just reminded me how much I love working on all forest embroidery designs, and I've actually ordered materials for a couple more. So that was my Maynia 2024. Like I said, I ended up starting 7 designs instead of 5. I did work on most of them for a week, on some a bit less. I ended up stitching 12,500 stitches on all of those May designs, plus 900 on the garden carps in June, in the first few days of June. And I had really good time, but I had lifing in the middle of it, which is expected. So on some of them I didn't make as much progress as I wanted. On some of them it seemed like vice versa, I didn't need a whole week to stitch on. I could have easily split the whole month, 31 days, into 5 designs and done 6 days on each and finished it properly in May. Yeah, what I have taken from it is it's amazing to stitch on designs that you've always wanted to work on and not let them collect dust in your stash. I was really glad to start all of them. I was really glad to try all of these new materials and fabric. I have really enjoyed working on the Picture This Plus linens. I've enjoyed working with silk for the first time. I have enjoyed beading some more, picking some replacements and things from stash for some of these designs. I have just really enjoyed working on all of these designers, and I cannot wait to get back to all of them. All of them are calling for me. I am excited to go on working on all of these designs and make some lovely progress and have them finished at some point soon. Well, some sooner than others, obviously. And so yeah, I'm glad that when I had the urge in the middle of doing other starts to start something completely different and unplanned, I just let myself do it and I went with it. And that was really enjoyable as well. And it just again for me confirmed that having, even if it's not a massive but stash, really helps, especially on those occasions of well, it's not 2 a.m. for me, but it's usually a Saturday morning or afternoon kind of occasion where suddenly I decide to start a new design, which has actually happened over this last weekend again. And I just go to stash, get everything prepped and quickly ready, and use materials from stash, and that gives me a lot of joy that the materials I have bought at some point and I have them stored being used up, and you know, like they're fulfilling their destiny, if it doesn't sound too dramatic. So May was a lot of fun, but I was really looking forward to going back to June, going back to stitching on whatever I wanted. I didn't allow myself to stitch on my whips started before May, during the month of May, and I did miss them, and some again more than others. And I have at some point I was nervous about the amount of whips I had accumulated. I am definitely more of a, I would say I'm definitely a combination of a process and product stitcher. I think I'm more of a product, so about maybe 60-40 I would say. But at some point, even after a small panic over how many whips I had, I just relaxed. I don't know, it just yeah, it all went back to normal. I was like, so we got 13, we got 15, who cares, you know, just start another one. If your heart is calling for it, just start another one. Like, who cares when I'm going to finish it? I have so many things already finished, either on my walls or waiting to go on my walls, the wall space is limited, and even though I do rotate them with seasons or just at some point in the year when I'm bored of looking at a particular one, I swap it for a different one, still I have a lot to go on the walls and I don't need to rush anywhere and try to finish these things as soon as possible. So I am really looking forward to stitching in June. I'm really looking forward to going back to some of my previous whips. I have been itching to go back to my Japanese garden and give it some love from Dimensions, and hopefully get that one. Is the one that needs finishing this year for sure. I've promised myself, it's been too long, it's been over 4 years, it needs to be done. I have missed my start on the nettle design that I started at the end of April, that I haven't made proper progress on, so I'll be going back to that. I have missed what else? I have missed my 12 days of Christmas and not working on them in May, so like I said, really excited to go back to just stitching on all of the things in June. And like I said, at this point, it's the beginning of June, including another sneaky start I made last week. I have 16 whips. I think that's the amount I haven't gone over before. I have had 16 whips before, for sure. I think exactly a few years ago, after doing these months of starts, I have had 16 whips. I think that's my maximum. I feel okay about it at the moment. I do want to give them some love though. I don't want to let them sit and just stagnate and just collect dust. Like I said, I want to keep them moving, to keep making progress. Quite a few of them are quite large, others are quite small, so it's a nice combination of different fabrics, styles, materials, sizes, and so I'm really excited to work on all of them. I'm not sure if you wanted a video on a whip parade. I've only done one in March, I think, when I filmed my first video. So before, when I had videos on my Russian channel, I normally made 2 whip parades a year in January and in July. I'm not sure if it makes sense to make one so soon, especially if I've just shown you all of my main starts, but do let me know in the comments. What I'm going to do is I'm going to film, like I said, a June update, and then I'll show that at the end of the month. Also on June 22nd, you will be watching my 10 favorite FFOs I've ever stitched, and yeah, that's the plan for now. So that is it for the part of this video about Maynia and things I've done in May. Started, watched, and had fun with. Now I'll be cleaning things up quickly and showing you some of my haul. And if that's not something that you like watching, then thank you so much for spending the time with me, and I'll see you later. And for anyone who wants to see haul, it will come up in a second. As for my haul in May, I first want to show you one of the pieces of fabric I bought in April that reached me only in May, and I hadn't had a chance to show it to you on the April update. So I snatched up a Lakeside linen. I've heard you have to buy them if you see them, from eBay, and it's a 36 count vintage nutmeg. Let me take it out of the bag. And it's a small piece. It's a 1/16 of a yard. Gorgeous color. This sort of smells really nice too. It's sort of a cocoa brown with a bit of pink shading to it. Really gorgeous. I think it will look fantastic with a lot of designs, and I'll definitely find it some use. Ooh, maybe with a shepherd's bush with 1 strand on 36. I haven't recalculated it. I don't know if it's true 36 or if it's shrunk even more than that, but most likely we'll be stitching with 1 strand on it. Lovely color, very nice. And then like I said, I didn't have many purchases in May. I am going on a little holiday in the middle of July, and we are going to be passing by a cross-stitch shop in Wales, and so I'm saving all of my hobby funds from like a couple months, as much as I can, to just you know, buy whatever I want there while I'm in the store, and so I'm trying not to spend too much at the moment. And so I won't show you sort of crying egg and other threads and just, you know, little materials that I bought for some of the designs that I've already started. I'll show you some kits, a few designs, electronic patterns, and another Mirabilia, or Nora, another Nora that I bought. So let's start with a kit that I got in May. On Facebook Market, someone was selling it in a D-stash, and it's a French horn by Mill Hill, and it's a Christmas design. And I've been wanting to stitch this for so long. I don't remember if it's gone out of stock and I couldn't find it, or I just didn't think to buy it. But I did get it at a good price from someone on Facebook, and it has blue perforated paper, a lovely star button, the old type, the clay, or what are they made of? Ceramics. I've got the beads, I've got the all the flosses, and so really excited, and we'll definitely be stitching it one of the holiday seasons, maybe not this year, but definitely will. Like I said, it's been on my wish list for a while. I was really glad to find it. And then I had a little yeah, I think that was my only kit. I had purchased a few needle minders, and I will insert the pictures here because I've already put them on the board and I'm using them on different whips. So I've discovered this amazing crafter on Etsy. Her name is Kate J. Blanford, and I will, like I said, I have left the link to her Etsy shop in the description below. She makes these fantastic needle minders from acrylic. It's they are, some of them are you know, solid colors, some of them use some other paint and glitter in them. She has organizers, she has floss drops, she has bobbins, all sorts of gorgeous accessories. But I have bought a few needle minders. I really loved working with them, and so I had another set ordered that I'm showing you now as well. It hasn't arrived as of yet, but I'll be editing it in a couple of days and it should be here by then. I had another purchase from Facebook Marketplace. Someone was selling again. I think it's a shop that unfortunately closed down in UK that had a lot of cross-stitch materials, and the owner had passed away and her daughter was selling the leftovers of the stock. And it's not in perfect condition, but it is new, and I got myself my first ever mermaid. So this is a Nora, and it's NC211, and it's 2014, and she is called Sunrise Laguna Mermaid. I think it might be out of print, I am not sure. I have seen her stitched by someone on Flosstube. I have seen the pattern before. I think you can still find it on eBay. It's just a bit more expensive than it would have been sold for on a regular sort of basis. So she is a mermaid with an orange tail and purple and turquoise green hair, and I love the frame around her that is this sort of gentlest touch of pink and purple and green. I adore her and I can't wait to stitch her. She uses 3 colors of silk, one of which, by the way, is the Pine Forest that I used in my Winter Hair by Nora as well. It uses one blend, like I said, 3 silks, and 5 colors of beads and 2 packs of the same type of treasures. I think she uses some crystals in her... there are crystals in these elements in the corners of the frame. They look like tassels to me. It sort of looks like a tapestry with a mermaid. I will definitely not be stitching her on white. 100% no, but there are quite a lot of colors here and I do need to find her a good fabric. And I think I am in love with green, purple and orange combination for some reason, because all of my Mirabilias seem to be following this color combination. Right, I think the rest of my purchases are digital patterns, and then I have a little bit of thrifty haul. So in May I have given up. I have seen this pattern on so many channels, stitched by so many lovely stitchers on different fabrics, on different counts, and I am in love with the design and I can't wait to stitch it. I have purchased the Poisonous Plants by Witchy Stitcher, and you are seeing it here now. I've seen it on Jen's Fiberwebs channel. I've seen it on, I think, the Savory Sewing by Elizabeth, if I remember correctly. I've seen it in a few different places on Instagram as well, and I just could not wait anymore. I had to have it. I also purchased a pattern by a Russian designer, so her name is Vitlanka, and she is she charts her patterns in this primitive style as well, and a lot of her characters are sort of traditional Slavic female characters, and this one is Tsar lady, and she's absolutely gorgeous. I saw her, she announced that she's released her a few days ago. I saw her, fell in love at first sight, and then I showed her to my husband and he just was floored. So he likes my cross stitch, but he isn't usually like in absolute awe of the designs that I stitch. Some of the ones I stitch he absolutely loves. So for him to be so like openly excited about a design means a lot, and so I wanted to, and so me loving it and him loving it as well definitely made me make the decision to purchase it. And so she is quite a big one as well. She's sort of like, I would call her like a Slavic Mirabilia if I can. She uses a lot of beads. She uses metallics, I think. She uses a couple colors by Owl Forest Embroidery, so with variegation. And so I got my friend Masha again, together with a couple of other sets, to buy me those two threads for her as well. I don't have any plans to start her anytime soon. Like I said, she's a big one, but I do want to start her maybe this year, maybe early next year. But yeah, she's gorgeous. And then I have a little bit of a thrifty haul that I showed on one of the videos in May, but I'll insert the clip of this now. So we went quickly to a car boot and then to a couple of thrift stores in Matlock in May, and I have found some lovely crafty goodies, and I'm really excited and happy about them. And I love thrifting in general. If I haven't said this before, I don't get to go a lot, and a lot of the local thrift stores mostly have just clothes and bags and things and don't really have anything crafty. And so if I ever have a chance to have a look and they have something besides, you know, yarn or fabric for, you know, curtains and pillowcases, I'm always excited to have a look through and find some lovely treasures. So I'll show that clip now. Hi guys, I wanted to add a little piece into this video to show you what I found at the car boot and thrift store. We just went out for the day today, had a wonderful day. Like I said, went to the car boot, then to a couple of thrift stores, had a little bite, and then found a really nice bookstore in Matlock with all new books that cost under £5. And Valera is coming out to check what I've got here. So I've got a couple of goodies. There's one big frame that I'll show you probably on a separate piece of video with myself in the frame, because it's quite large. But I have found this gorgeous frame with the tile, and I've seen quite a lot of designers creating these patterns recently for a similar one. I think it's a bigger one. The one that I've seen is bigger than this one. This is about, I would say maybe 8 by 8 centimeters, maybe 10 by 10 inside, but it will be really nice. I need to, Valera, stop it. I need to give it a proper wash, get the rust off. I've got some primer and some black metal paint, so that will be very useful to restore this. The back is just like that. Nice little spacing here so it doesn't scratch the wall. It's quite lovely, so I'm really excited. And then I've got an ornate oval frame. I have no idea what I'll frame in it just yet, but I thought I couldn't pass it by. And I think I might paint it black and maybe use for one of the witchy stitcher designs. Maybe someone else's. I'm thinking now, looking at it, you know the Mirabilias that are like just portrait size, like Luda and others, those are gorgeous, and this would look so perfect. I just need to actually paint it. So that's nice. This one has glass, but I'll get rid of it. And then I've got this one as well. I would say this one is very similar. I've seen Stephanie from Cross Stitch the Globe show one in her recent video with finished and framed design from her booklet that she's releasing in June. So I've got this one as well. This one's quite much bigger. Valera checking out as well. And then at the thrift store, I have got a bag of goodies, and I'm really excited because my thrift stores next to home normally don't have anything craft related. Very, very rarely. They have some yarn and some like curtain fabric, that kind of stuff. So here's what I've got. I had a bundle of fabrics, and I got very excited by this one with all the formulas. I've got this one that looks like tiles, and Valera is doing quality inspection. There's this floral one inside as well, looks lovely. And then just plain black cotton, which is always helpful. This lovely stripy one, and I think this is the same, just more of this beautiful plant pattern. That's a lovely bundle. Then I've got some beads. So one stack was like this with different color bugle beads. This is the way. Yeah, different color bugle beads. I'm not sure if they are, you know, like Mill Hill or Toho or Preciosa or just no name brand made in China, but they look quite even and nice, so I might use them in some of my projects. And they were already packed, which is nice, so I'll just keep them this way. And then a few other sort of decorative elements, the little golden and green, what are they called, beads as well, yeah, and some iron on, as you can tell in the top section, iron on crystals. And then bottom one has sequins in different shapes and colors. And then this is what I'm most excited about, probably. They had these plastic Valera, come on, let me show. They had these plastic tubes with bead mixes in different colors. I just picked all of them. Beautiful. There's both round beads and bugle beads, different sizes as well. So there's this yellow and cream, and a bit of clear ones as well. You take the prices off them. There's these, as I like to call them, the scarab beetle mix. There's the blue and turquoise. Nice. Then there's lots of crystal ones, clear ones. Love these. They will be perfect for winter designs. I was debating to take pink one or not, but they're only £1, so I thought, you know what, for this price, might as well. And then I'll find where to use them, maybe with some floral designs or something. And then this is crystals. I'm not sure if they are glass ones again, or you know, like Swarovski have similar ones they use. Mill Hill uses these, I know. They might be similar to the ones by Mill Hill used in Mirabilias as well, but I'm well excited. They're gorgeous. There's so many different colors and sizes. I'll definitely find where to use them. So Valera is in the frame. Baby, come on, let me show. So yeah, very nice finds today. Very successful day, and I'll get to some stitching as well. And that was all of my May updates. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and liked my May starts, and also got inspired to stitch on the things that you want to stitch on. Thank you so much again for everyone who has commented and who has watched, subscribed, liked my videos. I am really grateful, and like I keep on saying, this community is just so supportive, so uplifting, so wonderful. I hope you enjoyed spending this time with me today. I will see you very, very soon on June 22nd with my 10 most favorite FFOs I've ever stitched. Have a wonderful stitchy time, have a lovely, lovely week, and I'll see you later. Bye!